was to back up. You said he was getting some number one reps. Is that true with Shedeur?
No. I mean, with a young quarterback with Dylan starting, you want to make sure he gets a lot of the reps. Different when you have a veteran like Joe, I would tell you, Tony. But still getting reps in a bunch of periods.
The whole city of Cleveland is going wild right now. The rumors just exploded that Shedeur Sanders' name has officially been dropped in a potential AFC trade deal.
It looked like Shedeur Sanders allegedly could be getting the hell out of Cleveland.
And fans can't wrap their heads around it. Some are saying it's real, others swear it's smoke, but either way, this just flipped everything upside down. Would you really trade Shedeur if you were the Browns? It's chaos out here. So let's break down this madness because Cleveland just turned into a circus overnight.
They have not been giving him his just due, I should say. And me personally, I feel like he should leave. Now, with that being said, do I feel like the Cleveland Browns is going to trade Shedeur Sanders? No, I do not. I don't feel like they're going to let him go.
Early this morning, multiple sports insiders started hinting that Shedeur Sanders might be on the table in a possible AFC trade scenario. And yes, you heard that right. The same Shedeur who hasn't even been given legit first-team reps yet. This ain't coming from some random blog or clickbait account either. It came straight from 92.3 The Fan, one of the biggest and most respected Cleveland sports radio stations. When they start talking trades, it's never just what if. It usually means something's moving behind the scenes.
With no reps, because sometimes that's the hand you dealt.
If he truly plays well, like really well, where it's obvious that he's playing well, and people don't give him credit for that, that's on them. They're idiots, and they should be ignored.
If he get in there and he play really well, it's
gonna be exciting.
Significantly better.
Yeah, like you're seeing, you're like, wow.
They're gonna fire Kevin and AB.
100%.
Y'all tripping.
Here's how it all kicked off. According to the show's discussion, the Browns have been quietly exploring ways to spark life into their offense after losing a few key veterans. And that's when things got spicy. One of the names reportedly brought up in a what-if trade was Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson. And guess who got tossed in as a possible trade chip? You guessed it. Shedeur Sanders himself. Apparently, the proposal floating around was wild. Cleveland would send Shedeur plus a draft pick to New York in exchange for Wilson. And the second fans heard that, instant meltdown. People went from sipping their morning coffee to choking on it, because wait a second. How are you going to trade the young quarterback who hasn't even been given a fair shot yet?
If Zach Jackson and him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good. He looks really good.
Yes.
He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true.
So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the one, but that non-NFL quarterback can?
We all
what
agree
sense
with that.
does that make?
It makes no sense.
Clearly, the guys running the team disagree with us.
Man,
it doesn't make any
and
sense.
they're the ones. What are y'all trying to? What is the goal of this year?
Let's rewind for a second. Shedeur's barely gotten any snaps behind Dylan Gabriel. He's been stuck in the shadows, barely touching the field, barely working with the starters. And suddenly, the team's dangling his name in trade talks. Fans started losing it online, connecting dots that the organization clearly didn't want connected. This ain't even the first time Shedeur's name's been surrounded by drama lately. The headlines have been hitting back to back. Shedeur not getting first-team reps. Tommy Rees defends Dylan Gabriel. Kevin Stefanski calls it a developmental year. Like, come on. Every week it's something new and it's always messy. Now this latest trade rumor, it just turned the whole situation nuclear. Fans are fuming, analysts are confused, and everyone's asking the same thing. Why would the Browns even think about trading the most promising quarterback prospect they've had in years? The tension between the coaching staff and the fan base is officially at a boiling point, and this rumor just poured gasoline on it. The drama in Cleveland is hitting new levels, and if this story keeps picking up steam, things might get ugly real fast. Now here's where things get real messy, because if even half of this rumor is true, it means Cleveland might be trying to cash in on Shedeur's name, not his talent. That's wild. Word around the league is that the Browns have been milking Shedeur's fame for months, using his image to boost ticket sales, merch numbers, and hype while the team struggles to rebuild. And honestly, that theory makes too much sense. His last name alone sells headlines. But if that's true, then tossing his name into trade rumors this early, that's straight up disrespectful. Let's really unpack why this one rumor hit the city like a bomb. It all started as a simple debate, not some official trade offer. During an analyst segment on 92.3 The Fan, the hosts were arguing about what it would take for the Browns to land Jets star Garrett Wilson. Then, out of nowhere, one of the analysts casually says, "I'd toss in Shedeur Sanders and a draft pick to make it happen." Boom. That single sentence turned the internet into a war zone. Within an hour, the hashtag Shedeur trade was trending across X. Fans started flooding the timeline with memes, outrage posts, and full-blown rants. One tweet that went viral said it best: "The Browns can't even develop QBs. Now they're trying to trade one before he gets a fair shot. Classic Cleveland." You can't even argue with that one, because seriously, if the Browns were truly committed to Shedeur's growth, they'd be giving the man reps. Real snaps, real first team work. Instead, they got him sitting on the sidelines while his name gets thrown around in what-if trade scenarios. It's giving fake loyalty vibes, and fans are tired of it. But here's the kicker. What really made this whole thing suspicious was the timing. This rumor popped off right after Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees doubled down in interviews, saying Dillon Gabriel is their guy, and that Shedeur still wouldn't be getting first-team practice time. That's what got fans connecting dots. Like, hold up, was that announcement just to prepare people for what's coming? Because if the coaching staff already knew Shedeur's name was being tossed around in trade talk, then all that development year talk suddenly looks like a cover-up. And the potential trade partner, the New York Jets, only adds more heat because the Jets are desperate for a young quarterback to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, learn the system, and possibly take over in a year or two. And guess who fits that mold perfectly? Yep, Shedeur Sanders. So while it might sound wild at first, it actually makes perfect sense from their perspective. What's even crazier? The experts on 92.3, The Fan, weren't even fully agreeing with each other. Some were saying it'd be smart business. Others called it pure madness. That division alone showed just how controversial this idea really is. One side sees value, the other sees betrayal. And the fans, they're not having it either way. Cleveland might have just opened a storm they can't control, and if this chatter keeps snowballing, it could expose what's really going on behind the scenes. So here's where it really gets wild. Even the experts couldn't agree. One of them flat out said they'd trade Shedeur immediately, while the other fired back that they'd want to see him play first. And that back and forth right there, that's exactly what's happening across Cleveland right now. The city's split in half. Some fans are screaming, "Keep him," while others are like, "Ship him out." But come on. The whole situation's starting to sound like a bad joke. Cleveland finally lands a young quarterback with swagger, charisma, and media buzz, and instead of building around him, they're turning his story into a full-blown soap opera. Like seriously, do the Browns have some kind of allergy to stability? Because every time something good starts to happen, they find a way to blow it up before it even gets off the ground. You've got Dillon Gabriel getting praised left and right for game management, while Shedeur is stuck in the shadows, just watching from the sidelines, not even getting a fair chance. And now, out of nowhere, trade whispers start flying before we even hit midseason. It's chaos, pure and simple. And here's the coldest part. Shedeur himself hasn't said a word. No tweets, no interviews, nothing. That silence, it's loud. It says everything. He's probably sitting there thinking exactly what the fans are. How am I in trade rumors when I'm not even allowed to play? That frustration's gotta be unreal. This whole thing's got organizational confusion written all over it. The kid's caught in the middle of a franchise that can't figure out if it wants to win games or just trend on social media. And if, big if, this rumor actually turns into a real conversation between teams, here's what it could mean for both sides. For the Browns, trading Shedeur would be a massive risk. He's the most marketable player they've got besides Deshaun Watson. Even when he's not starting, his presence alone keeps fans talking, boosts engagement, and brings energy to a team that desperately needs it. Letting him go now, that would infuriate the fan base and probably tank jersey sales overnight. People love this kid, not just because of his last name, but because he represents hope. Now for the Jets though, it'd be a genius move. They'd land a young quarterback with star power, national attention, and a built-in fan base. Imagine Shedeur sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, learning, growing, waiting for his shot. That's a low-risk, high-reward setup that could pay off huge in the long run, especially if all it costs them is a mid-round draft pick. That's a steal. But here's the twist. The Browns front office hasn't said a single word about any of this. No denial, no confirmation, nothing. And that silence? It's only adding more fuel to the fire. Fans want answers, the media's buzzing, and the longer the team stays quiet, the louder the drama gets. And that silence from the Browns, it's got the whole fan base spinning out. Because when a team doesn't shut down a rumor this big, it usually means one thing: something's cooking behind the scenes. And the longer the front office stays quiet, the worse it looks. Reporters have been digging nonstop, trying to squeeze answers out of Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, anyone, but the whole organization's moving like it's under a gag order. That's only making people more suspicious. Now fans are asking, is this silence about professional discretion, or are they really considering pulling the trigger on a Shedeur trade? Because if that's the case, Cleveland's about to walk straight into another PR disaster. The fan base already feels burned. They watch this team hype up Shedeur like the future of the franchise, only to turn around and treat him like a pawn in some front office chess game. That's cold. Meanwhile, sports insiders have started connecting even more dots. Some believe this whole thing started weeks ago, way before the public even heard a whisper. Apparently, a few league sources think the Browns have been shopping ideas around quietly, testing the waters with other AFC teams to see what Shedeur's market value looks like. That's not an accident. That's strategy. And if that's true, it means this rumor isn't just speculation anymore. It's a warning shot, and you can see how fast the pressure's building. Fans are furious, the local media's ripping management apart, and the players? Even they're starting to notice. There's talk inside the locker room that guys are frustrated with how Shedeur's been handled, especially veterans who feel like the coaching staff's priorities are all over the place. One anonymous player even told a reporter, "You can't keep playing politics with talent. It's killing the energy in here." That quote alone sent shockwaves across Cleveland sports radio. It's like deja vu for the Browns. Another young quarterback, another controversy, another shot at success being fumbled before it even starts. People are tired of seeing potential get wasted over ego and indecision, because no matter how you slice it, this team can't seem to get out of its own way. And let's not forget, Shedeur's brand isn't just some side story. The kid's social media presence, sponsorships, and media pull are major. Losing him wouldn't just hurt the offense. It'd hurt the Browns' entire image. That's what makes this rumor feel like a ticking bomb. You're not just talking about moving a player. You're talking about moving a marketing engine. Over in New York, though, the Jets camp is reportedly watching all this unfold like hawks. Insiders claim they've been on the lookout for a young, confident quarterback who can handle bright lights and big pressure. And Shedeur fits that bill perfectly. With Aaron Rodgers nearing the end, the Jets need a successor who can take over when the time comes. Someone who can handle New York's chaos and still keep his cool. Shedeur might be that guy. No denial, no confirmation, nothing. And when an organization stays that quiet, it usually means one thing: they're at least listening. So maybe the Browns aren't out here actively shopping Shedeur, but let's be real. They're definitely not hanging up the phone either, and that's what's driving fans crazy. Cleveland's social media is on fire. Every Browns page is flooded with comments like, "If they trade Shedeur, I'm done with this team," and "We can't even keep a rookie happy for one season." Fans are fed up, man. Every time this city starts to believe again, the team finds a new way to break their hearts, and you can't even blame them. They've seen this movie too many times before. Remember how they botched Baker Mayfield's exit, or how they spent years cycling through quarterbacks who never had the right support system? Same story, different year. It's like Cleveland's stuck playing quarterback roulette, and no matter how many spins they take, they always lose. The frustration isn't just about Shedeur, it's about decades of disappointment building up until fans just snap. And honestly, if you ask me, Shedeur probably shouldn't even want to stay there at this point. The writing's on the wall. He's not getting first-team reps. The coaching staff keeps talking in circles, and now his name's being thrown into trade rumors like he's expendable. That's not how you treat a potential franchise quarterback. That's how you treat a player you're trying to control, not develop. This isn't about development years or strategic patience anymore. It's about trust, and Cleveland's doing a terrible job at earning it. The vibe feels off, like the front office is more worried about managing public perception than managing their locker room. And when that happens, it's only a matter of time before things start falling apart. If Shedeur ends up getting traded to a team that actually believes in his talent, honestly, good for him. Let him shine somewhere that values what he brings to the table, because it's becoming clearer every day. Cleveland might not be the place for him to grow. So what do you think, Cleveland fans? Is this whole Shedeur Sanders trade talk just media noise stirring the pot? Or is there really something brewing behind the scenes that the team doesn't want to admit? Because if this rumor turns out to be real, it's going to flip the entire Browns organization upside down. And there's no coming back from that. If you've been keeping up with all this drama, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know where you stand on this. Are the Browns making a mistake, or are they just following a bad pattern they'll never break?